Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. Hey, if you're hearing me, can you just say something? Just announce yourself in the chat so I know you're there. Okay, you can hear me? Good. I see you laced differently. Okay. 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 Who else is here? Okay. Okay, Ray, I see you there. Okay. Maybe we'll just wait a couple more minutes. It's not going to take that long. I kind of broke it down. I got some notes here. Okay. See you there, Steven. I got some notes. It's pretty quick. But we'll wait. Unless you guys have an objection, we'll wait a couple more minutes. Um, and then we'll get started maybe at 8:05. Are there any questions you guys have now? If not, we can just make small talk until 8:05. It's not going to take so long. So whoever doesn't join, I mean, I can do it again later tonight, tomorrow, anytime. So if we missed a lot of people, it's no big deal. Ideally, I think. Okay, Ray, I'll let you guide everyone. Okay, yeah. Okay, Ray, I'll wait for you to just just say when you think it's a good time to get started, and then we'll get started. But what I think you guys will get out of this, it's when we built and I'll say all this over again, but when we built it, we actually overbuilt it. There's a lot of pages in here that are causing confusion that we really don't even need. I'm sure you guys already know that. But we're constantly trying to improve it. So let's see. Okay. Yes, it will laced. It will post. We'll save it to our YouTube, um, And so it'll be there for your reference. And again, if you guys ever want me to do like a one-on-one, if you have like a good friend or a follower who's a really loyal follower and you feel like they need one-on-one attention or a small group of 2 or 3, I'm happy to do it. Don't hesitate. Just put it in the chat. And unless Ray and George have an objection, yeah, I'm happy to give them a one-on-one because it's not hard. And, you know, after people see it a couple times, then it becomes like easy, like the back of their hand. Yeah, so yeah, don't hesitate. I'm happy to give demos all day long. If that's all I'm doing all day long or half my day, I'm okay with that. Okay. Hey, what's up, Kick Fleet? Okay. And you guys can kind of see like now, eventually we'll do some on the Squad app, but it's easier just to, like, if someone has a question in here, just say, hey, I have a question. And then I'll focus on what you put in the chat. Because with the Squad app, it you know, it might be too many people trying to talk at the same time. It could be confusing. Um, yeah, so this, and I'm pretty sure we can, okay, we're ready. Okay, Ray says we're ready. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And once the screen is shared, if you guys can just confirm that you see my screen, then I'll know I can get started. So I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, George is missing. I mean, I can give George, you know, he's West Coast. I can give him one late tonight if he wants. We could just do a one-on-one. That's no big deal. Okay, do you guys see my screen? Let me know when you guys see the screen. Okay, thanks. Oh, that's George. George is here. All right, so, okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, George is here now. Okay. All right, so the first thing we'll cover is, hey, can you, okay, good. Do you guys see the chat box on the left, or do you just see my screen? Okay, Ray. Yeah, well, yeah, what I'm going to show you, it's pretty quick. Okay. Can you guys see the chat box to the left or just my screen, just the page that I'm on? Okay. Okay, I'm just going to move it over to the side a little bit. I don't want to. Okay, you guys can see the chat in the screen too. Let's kill this screen. Okay, so I'm going to kill the, let me see here. I'm going to kill the chat, but they moved a lot of stuff around, so let me just make sure I can find easily where the chat is. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing it on the computer, but it's the same as mobile. That's the only knock on this Ecamm application. Um, it's on the computer, and most 97% of people access the platform on mobile, but it's about the same. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close these boxes. I'm going to close the chat box so we just see the screen. And then if you guys have chat questions, I'll reopen it and, catch up on what all was said. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And then, then we'll go from there. All right. Just see. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, that's perfect. All right, so let's just take this down here. All right, so the first thing is easy. It's signing up. I'm sure no one had a problem with this. You just sign up as like any other page, username, password, that's easy. The first thing I'm going to show you, so that's step number one. No one had any questions on registration, right? Or signing up for the page, right? Okay. Okay, George says cool. All right, we'll go to the next one. Okay, next, I'm going to show you how to deposit. Okay, let me see. I'm going to show you how to deposit. Okay, George, I got that. All right, I'm going to show you how to deposit. So you just sign in, which is easy. And then this, you guys are going to see the admin. It's slightly different than a user, but it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is users won't have this admin panel right over here. But we don't need that. We don't need to worry about that. So I'm signed in. The way you tell you're signed in, you'll see your name up here in the top right, and there'll be the default. It's a picture of just some random dude, up there. I'm sure you guys have seen it if you registered already. Okay. And so to deposit, you click the drop down next to your name, go to your account. And then this is like the most important page, and we'll get into it later. But you just, again, this will look a little different on mobile, but you just go to the payments section, and here is where you can deposit funds here. You put the amount here. It has to be at least $5, and then you just click out like normal PayPal. We'll get into the withdrawal at the end, but that's literally it for deposits. Let me know if there are any questions on deposits. It's pretty straightforward. If you want, I can do a demo, but it's pretty straightforward. Okay, I don't see any questions yet. All right, I'll move to the next thing then. Okay, next, this is probably where people are getting hung up the most. This is buying or bidding. For this, I'm going to go back to the home page. And this is, so buying or bidding, you have a choice. You can either buy the shares for what they're being listed for, or if you don't feel like they're worth that much, then you can bid for less. You can bid a little bit less. So to buy or bid, you just pick the sneakers you want. Let's say these Jordan 4 Travis Scott Cactus Blacks. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, let's say we do these Jordan 4 Travis Scott Cactus Blacks. So the main two things you want to look at here is this last trade. That just tells you the last person who bought shares, the last trade that happened, someone who bought and sold shares, happened at $5.92. And this 592, that's just taking 592 times 100 because each sneaker's broken into 100 shares. So that number really is just to give you an idea what the market said about these shares on the last trade. The next number that's important to you is this lowest ask per share. This 592, it's very similar to if you look at StockX, how they'll show you what the lowest ask is. They didn't invent that. I mean, that concept's been around for over 200 years with the stock market. But just to show you, it's just like if you go to StockX, and we just look at this quickly and pick a pair of sneakers. It's the same thing as here. Like, it's just showing you the lowest ask here is $318. It's the same exact concept. They took that from, stock markets, like I said, been doing it for over 200 years. So this just tells you that right now, the lowest ask, someone out there is selling shares for $5.92 per share. Now, right now, the system won't tell you. You don't know if that's 1 share or 50 shares. That's something we're going to roll out later to like our power users, our really big users. We'll give them basically a breakdown of there's 10 shares listed at $5.92. Then below that, they'll see, there's another 4 shares at $6.30. We stack the asks. The lowest is always on top because that's the one that's going to be potentially purchased first. So literally, here's where you decide whether you think these shares are worth $5.92 or not. If you think they are and you want to buy them, then you just put in here the number of shares you want to buy, 2 or 3 or what have you. Let's just say 2. Let me see, make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay. Ray, was there something, a question? Okay, I'll keep going. And then, Ray, if I hear from you, and if I hear you have another question, we'll address it. But yeah, getting back to the trade, it's literally this number right here, this 592. That's just for you to decide, okay, I want these sneakers or I want these shares because I think I can get them for 592 or less, and I think I can sell them for more. So if you think they're worth 592 and you want to buy them outright, just put in however many shares you want, 2 shares, and let's say 5.92. The system will automatically calculate like how much it's going to charge you. Oh, okay. All right, Ray, go ahead. Let's see here. Where's Ray's question? Okay, Ray's question is, why would someone want to pay $6 for the Cactus Jack? As a speculator, the only reason you'd be willing to pay $6 is if you think you could sell that share later for more than $6. And basically, again, it's just like the concept with StockX. Once you own shares, you could put them back on the market for whatever price you want. Does that make sense? Yeah, one person, Nation of Souls, one person can absolutely own all 100 shares. And once you own 100 shares, that's when you own the sneaker and we'll ship them to you. Based on everyone we've talked to, we've interviewed a bunch of users, and there's only 2 reasons you would use our exchange. The majority of people are just going to try to use it to make money, to buy shares for low and then sell them for higher. I would say probably 80 to 85% of people, and the other 15 to 20% of people will use it because they think they can get sneakers. They believe they can get sneakers for cheaper than elsewhere. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Nation of Souls, one person can own all 100 shares. That's the objective. If you want to own the sneakers and have them shipped to you, you need to get all 100 shares. If you just want to buy and sell shares because you think you can buy them for whatever, $6 and sell them for $6.50, then you don't even care about getting 100 shares. Yeah, so, well, technically, if you get all 100, like if all 100 of, I see your question, Stephen, if you get all 100 shares at $5.92, yeah, then the Cactus Blacks technically would be $592. But what'll happen is right now, the majority of the shares on the market we put on the market. So what will happen is as users buy and buy and sell shares amongst each other, that 592 will go up and down. It'll go up and down just like a real stock once we get a lot of people trading. And just so you guys know, right now, there's not a lot of people trading. That's why some of the prices might be dated. Some of them, most of them are a little lower than what the shoes are going for on the market. But that's okay because we make money on trades of shares, not on selling sneakers, if that makes sense. All right, I know we have a delay, so I'll wait a couple seconds before I keep going just to make sure there's no more questions. Okay, laced differently. If you're able to buy all 100 shares, that'll be incredible because we set the technology up to where, okay, let's say once we really take off and there are thousands of people trading, we set it up where a bot can't come in or bots can't come in and crawl the exchange and gobble up all 100 shares. Now, I mean, as you all know, these bots get better and better every day, it seems like. So who knows, maybe they'll come up with one that is able to do that. But once you have all 100 shares, it's up to you if you want to cash out or not. The system will email you and say, hey, you own these sneakers now. Where do you want them shipped? And you can either have them shipped to you or you could be like, you know what? I think I can sell these sneakers for more than what I ultimately paid for them. And you could sell one share at a time. You can sell 5 shares at a time. You can sell 10 shares at a time. You can advertise it on your own Instagram page and say, hey, guys, I own these sneakers. I'm selling shares. And I mean, they're your shares and your sneakers. Once you buy them, you own them. You can do what you want with them. You could sit on them. You could cash them out. You could sell them. I mean, it's totally up to you. So yes, Ray, right now the sneakers at 592. Let's say that the shares can go down. Like if one of the owners of the 100 shares is desperate and I don't know, maybe not even desperate, just wants to cash out and invest in something else, they can go on the system right now and list their shares for $5, $5 even. But even if you own shares, you don't care about that. That's, again, just like StockX, sometimes sneakers will be at a certain price and there'll be one seller who's willing to sell his pair or her pair for dirt cheap. But then what happens is the market will recorrect. After that cheap share is out of the way, the next cheapest share will be listed. So if someone went on there and owned one share and they sold it for $5, then the system, once that share is out of there and bought, the system will go to the next lowest price, which could be $5.92, it could be $6, it could be $7. Let me see, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh yeah, and the idea is, Stephen, the idea is we know that most people can't afford to flip sneakers. It's very expensive. And then you got to be able to get the sneakers. You can need a plug. You got to have a place to store them. Then you got to resell them, put them in boxes and deal with the mail. It's a headache. But the main thing is most people we talked to before we built it, there's a lot of people out there who have sneaker knowledge, who are willing to trade sneakers, but they just don't have the money. And so that's why we break the sneakers into 100 shares, because it's much easier to flip $5 or $6 or $10 worth of shares versus an $800 or $600 or $700 pair of sneakers. We think that'll bring more people into the market. When they say, oh, all I have is an extra $15, that's nowhere close to enough to flip sneakers, but you can flip shares with that. And then eventually turn that 15 hopefully into 30, in like a short time, a couple weeks or a few weeks, and then turn the 30 into 60 and so on and so forth. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, and you can just once you own shares, you could do whatever you want with them. Like that's the whole point. You can sit on them. You can sell them. And the beauty of it is when you're holding shares in your portfolio, other people on the market will bid for your shares. And so you'll be able to see, I mean, you'll be able to clearly see like right now, I mean, we know that 592 is the lowest ask, but if you own these shares, you could see the highest bid right now. It's zero because no one's bid on them yet. But when somebody goes out there and bids, and I'll do one just to show you, somebody could go out there and place a bid for, $5.50, and then you would know, okay, somebody's willing to pay X for these shares. Let me catch up on these questions. Okay. Yeah, it is a great way to make money. Yes, Nation of Souls. Good question. If all 100 shares are sold, the system will email that user and say, hey, you own these sneakers now. Where do you want us to ship them? And then the owner has the choice. You could say, ship them to this address, I want them. Or you could say, you know what? I plan on selling the shares back onto the exchange because I think, you don't even have to tell us why. It's up to you. But once we ship sneakers out, we can't take them back. Yeah, if you get all 100 Kick Fleet, if you get all 100 shares, you can hold on to the shares. Yeah, for example, if you think the price may go up, so you can sell them for more, that's 100% up to you. It's 100% investing. Like you use it based on your sneaker knowledge. That's how you decide whether or not to buy, sell, or hold shares. I mean, maybe you hear some news that there's going to be a re-release, something like that. It's literally investing. It's just we're doing sneakers. Yeah, the delay, we have a delay, so don't worry about that. I mean, I try to shorten the delay as much as possible, so there's no need to apologize. Um, yes, Stephen, really good question. Eventually, what we're going to do, we already have a plan in place, is sneakers will only allow them to trade for so long. So we're thinking in the beginning, we'll do maybe 15 or 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, whichever user has the most shares, whether it's 2 shares or 3 shares, will go to all the other share owners and say, hey, listen, we are going to us, meaning the exchange, meaning Arkiv, we're going to buy your shares that you have, that you own for whatever you paid plus 2 or 3%. So they make a little money. And then we'll give the option to the person who owns the majority of shares. We'll give them the option to buy those remaining shares from us at basically what we paid for them. We're not going to mark them up. So yeah, if that's what you mean by do shoes have time? Yes, we are eventually going to limit how long a sneaker can be listed so we can keep the inventory fresh. So yeah, so George, yeah, whoever owns the majority of shares, they'll have the option to buy the remainder of shares. And what will happen is there, of course, there's going to be a lot of times where, let's say, one person buys one share. I think someone had this question in the IG chat. What if someone has one share and boosts it to $1 million, tries to sell one share they bought for $3 for $1 million? Of course, we will step in at that point and go to that user and just say, hey, look, we can't have that kind of behavior. We'll give them the opportunity to adjust their price. But if we just have people trying to jam up the system, we'll just boot them off the exchange. We'll pay them for their share plus whatever fees and just boot them off the exchange. Yeah. So yeah, once you own the majority of shares, and you'll know, I mean, you know how many shares you own, like the system will tell you. The rest of the exchange doesn't know you own the rest of the shares. So I mean, you could strategically be like, okay, I think these shoes are going to go up for the next 3 months or the next 6 weeks. You can be like, all right, I'm going to sell 3 shares a week and see if I can just drive the price up for myself every week. Yeah, exactly, Ray. It's sneaker day trading. I mean, we built this because um, I used to work in finance, and I see how much markets, how much they've made the most wealth, created the most wealth for human beings than any other industry in the history of mankind. Whether it's real estate, entertainment, it doesn't matter. The markets, like stock markets, bond markets, have generated the most wealth for human beings than any other industry on in the history of mankind. And I feel like part of why we built it, Archive, is because there are a lot of people with sneaker knowledge that don't have the advantage of, having parents or mentors who taught them about stocks. Because, a lot of people, they get brought up and they learn about stocks and they're comfortable. Once they hit 15, they're getting, GE stocks for their third birthday. And so this is a way for people who maybe they don't are not comfortable trading Tesla stocks, but they're definitely comfortable trading and very experts at trading shares of Jordans and Yeezys and other Nikes and stuff like that. Okay, laced. That's a great question. I'm going to defer to Ray and George because we've been talking about some stuff. The question is, are you the only one that will be posting sneakers to buy? Are you the only ones that's going to be posting? Uh, I'll leave that to George. We have some ideas, but I'll let George and Ray talk about that. You can at Nation of Souls. You can buy a share for $2 and ask for $1 million. Now that's not realistic. You'll never sell it. And obviously, at some point, we would step in and say, "Hey, that's unrealistic. That's not. Please adjust your price." But you can list it for whatever you want. You own it. Okay. Yeah, this is a good way to trading shares on here. Ideally, like we have some ideas on this would be an easy way to teach youth to get them comfortable with markets because the exchange works just like any other exchange to the point where they maybe let's say somebody makes I don't know a few thousand or 10, 15,000, 20,000 over the course of a year in profit, then maybe they're comfortable saying, okay, let me take 5 grand and invest in Tesla stock. Or maybe they say, I made 15 grand, let me try to make 50 grand next year just trading sneakers. Because eventually we'll have enough sneakers on here and we'll have enough users to where you can make real big money. Because think about it, you have guys like Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, he became rich. I mean, obviously he was doing illegal stuff, but those were penny stocks they were trading. I mean, they were trading stocks worth 2 and 3 cents. It's just volume at that point. The more you trade, the more you can make. Okay, I think I mean, I'll wait to see if there are more questions, but I think you guys all get the concept of buying or bidding for shares. Actually, I think you guys understand the exchange really well based on your questions. I think it's just a matter of where to look for what. Uh, yeah, yeah, and laced. I'm telling you, I believe there's gonna be some smart young kids out there that figure out how to trade really well, and they're making a few $100s a day. I know there's gonna be kids that get on here and make tons of money. I mean, tons of money. Just like professional poker players sit home and make money. This is actually more of an opportunity to make money because you can make it quicker. Actually. Okay, Nation of Souls. So yeah, if it's just if Ray owns 60% and George owns the other 40%, um, and he doesn't plan on selling, then eventually, I mean, he'll just sit on those shares, and if Ray really wants the sneaker, he'll continue to increase his bids on the market, and George will see that okay, I own this 40%. I don't want to sell it, but someone out here keeps raising their bid, and he will see, George will see the highest bid per share. This is what this zero is right here. This will continue to increase, and it'll be an indicator. It'll be an indicator to George that, hey, wait a minute, someone's bidding higher and higher, and then eventually maybe George says, all right, I own these 40%. The other person who owns, it's hard for me to get the other 60%. I mean, if I paid, I don't know, let's say I paid $300 for that 40% of shares. If I could put them back on the market and make $50 and put those 40% shares on the market for $350 and sell them off like in a matter of 2-3 days, because like you said, Ray owns the other 60% and maybe he wants to own the sneakers. That's a good trade to make $50. Like, hey, I live to fight another day and go find another pair to invest in and take my profit. No. Okay, Nation of Souls. I'm sorry. I was unclear about that. You can cash out if you only have one share. You don't need all 100%. If you bought one share for $3 and you want to cash out, two things need to happen. One, first, you need to go on the exchange and try to sell those shares, for whatever price you want. And we're still setting up the time frame for this, we're thinking 15 days as well. If that share you're trying to sell, if you can't sell it, after 15 days, you come to us as the market maker and say, hey, look, I just want to cash out. And we'll buy your shares with a little markup, so you make a little money, maybe 2-3%, and then you can cash out. That's a good question, though. But yeah, we will play, it's called market maker, and that's what happens right now on the New York Stock Exchange. There are market makers that are on the exchange that all they do is buy shares from sellers and sell shares to buyers. When you buy a share of Tesla on the New York Stock Exchange, you're not buying that directly from a seller, from an individual or an institution that owns that Tesla share. There's a market maker in between you guys that's actually the one buying, and you have a middleman. And the reason they have that is so to eliminate issues where somebody tries to sell their shares for, I don't know, $1 million when they're only worth 20. But there's always a middleman, and we'll do that. If people do want to cash out, we're not going to let people sit tied up. We've already projected and built in, we've set capital aside to be market maker in case people want to cash out. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good question though, Nation of Souls. That's a very good question. We will cash you out if the market doesn't. And in the beginning, we probably will have to do that more often than when we get more users and there's more bidding and selling going on. Eventually, it'll just be the users that are basically buying your shares. Then the cash will be in your portfolio. Then you can cash out. I'm going to wait to see if there's any more questions. And then I think you guys understand buying and selling. I think you understand that if the lowest ask is $5.92, in order to own those shares, you need to bid at least $5.92. But you can bid less, and the system will take that into account. Just like on StockX again. And same thing with selling. You can see this one has 0. The highest bid is 0. Let's look at another one. Let's see here. Let's just look at these breads. Yeah, so you could see here with these breads, the last trade was $1.80. The lowest ask right now, there's shares on the market right now for $1.80. But you don't have to bid $1.80. You can bid $1.50 and see if the owner of those shares will bite. But on the flip side, if you own shares, you could see right now the highest bid so far is $1. Again, you don't have to sell your shares at $1. You could put them at $2. And then eventually the bidder and the seller will eventually meet in the middle at some point. Like everyone will be able to see what the highest bid is. And you could change your bid every day if you want, every second if you want. Okay, so this is where, if you guys have more questions, just bring them in. I'll stop what I'm doing. But I think everyone understands buying and selling, or bidding and asking. I think everyone understands that. The next important page you have to worry about, really the only page that's very important to you, is your portfolio. It's like your wallet. Like that's where you figure out, that's where you know how much cash you have, what bids you have, and so on and so forth. And the way you get to that is right by your name, the drop down, just click your account. And like I said before, on the payments tab is where you make your deposits. On the payments tab is where you make your deposits. Let's put this way up here. And your withdrawals. You deposit here, at least $5 withdrawals. You can't withdraw more than what cash you have. And just the breakdown of what this is all these coach marks will tell you what exactly everything is. But this is the cash. This is the free cash you have. If you have bids out there, that cash is still in your wallet, but it's tied up in case that bid turns into a trade. So right now, we have $21 in bids out there. We'll probably cancel them, which I'll show you how to do. And then this shares you own, this is just the value of the shares that you purchased. Not what they're, like say these $86 worth of shares, I mean, they could be worth 100. We're just showing you this is what you paid. This is the cash you paid for those shares. And then your total portfolio value is just the sum of all these. But again, you can't withdraw more than your cash. Like that's the max you can withdraw. The system will give you an error if you try to withdraw more than your cash. It'll just say, hey, you can't withdraw more than the cash you have. Okay. Yes, exactly. Right, George, you can make money with $50. You can make money with $5. Some shares, like you just saw, are less than $2. And it's just a matter of being consistent and flipping at $1.80 share to $2 to $3. You know, just that's all it is. It's flipping shares, not actual sneakers. Okay. All right. So the next, like I said, the most important page is your portfolio because it's where you deposit, it's where you withdraw, and then most importantly, and then down here is just it just shows you a description of all your withdrawals and deposits. Like it's just a record for all your deposit history, your withdrawal history. It's just a record. It's basically just PayPal. Okay, and so the order book, this is important because these are where all your bids and asks are. And the reason this is important, and this is, we didn't update this, like on mobile, it looks better than this. But on mobile, you can see, this is where you see all your bids and asks. And the reason this page is so important is because you can just cancel your bids and asks right here. So you can see for these Jordan 4 Travis Scotts, we have 2 shares out there for sale at $6. We can cancel that anytime. We have another share out for sale for $6.25. We can cancel that. And those shares will then no longer be on the market. Same thing with the bids. We have a dollar bid here. I'm sorry, 1 share we bid here for $5.75. This is the size 10 on these Jordan 4 Travis Scotts. So again, you can cancel all your bids here. And this is that cash that's tied up. So if you wanted to free up your cash, you just cancel these bids. But this is why this page is so important, is because it's where you can cancel your bids and asks. Like once you own shares and you've made bids or asks on shares you own, this is where you're going to spend most of your time. This page, and then also on your portfolio page. This page is important. Again, this is just on mobile, it's all aligned and everything. This is different because, you know, first of all, I'm on desktop, but the portfolio page is second most important. And this is because this is all the shares that you own. So we show every sneaker even the ones you own 0 shares of. Like we own 0 shares of this this Off-White Presto. We own 0 shares. Let me see if that's a question. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's right, George. So in your portfolio, this is all the shares you own. So if you ever forget, like let's say you go on vacation or whatever, and you kind of forget like what you own and whatnot, you just come to this page, the portfolio tab in your account, go to your account, or you can go to straight to portfolio here. You come to this page, and this is going to show you everything you own. And this is all the sneakers that are listed on the exchange. So you can go in here and say, oh, okay, I own 1 share of this. And the reason this page is so important is because it'll show you what you owned. This is the last trade, this $1.80. So if you hadn't been on this exchange for 3 days, haven't checked it, you can quickly just come to this page and be like, okay, let me see what I own. Okay, I own 1 share of this Jordan 4 Retro Bread, and the last trade was $1.80. Okay, so technically my shares are worth $1.80. And this will show you like how many shares are available on the market, 74. Okay, cool. And then this is the potential return. If you were to sell right now, so you paid $1.80 for these shares. This is important because if you wanted to sell these shares right now at $1, which is the highest bid right now, this right here is going to tell you the return, your return that you're going to make. So you're going to lose 44%. You're not going to sell them for $1. But you can sell them for more. You could click sell or ask, and then now you know the highest bid out there is $1, but you're like, no way, I'm not losing money on that. And then you could go in here and sell them for more. Like you could literally list your 1 share, and you could list it for $2.25 if you wanted, and then you would execute the trade, and it wouldn't process it because the highest bid's only $1, but then it would register that ask. You still wouldn't see it because there's someone asking only $1.80, but your $2.25 ask would then be put behind that $1.80. I have some more questions here. Let me go to those. Okay. Are you selling the sneaker, or can people post sneakers to be sold? Okay, yeah, George and Ray. Yeah. Eventually, yeah, we're talking about a plan for you guys, only you guys. Yeah, so we'll talk about that soon. But George and Ray, they'll talk to you about that. Okay, so going back to portfolio, again, it's very important because if you haven't been on the exchange for a while, you can quickly they're like, okay, we own 12 shares here. The value of them is 71.80. That's basically just the 12 times the 592. And again, you could see right now there's no high bid for these yet because no one's bid. Again, we just started, so there's not a lot of people on the exchange. There's not a lot of people on the exchange. But some of them you could see there's like a bid for $2 here. But the reason this page is important is just it can remind you. It's a quick way for you to say, okay, what do I own of what? And we don't own a lot of these shares just because, I mean, we're the exchange, so a lot of them we don't own. But you can quickly see how many are on the market, how many you own, and then what people are bidding for them. Like this one here, someone's bidding $5 already. So someone already, these Futurecraft, this isn't us. Someone out here is willing to pay $5 for these shares. So we don't own any, but if I did own some and I paid $5.41, I wouldn't sell them for $5. But what I would do is put them on the market for maybe $5.35 instead of $5.40. And then this person bidding $5 will see that. They'll see that, okay, the lowest ask is $5.35 now, not $5.40, and they'll see it, and maybe they'll be like, okay, let me jump on them now, or maybe they'll wait until later. Let me see, there's another question. Yeah. So that's basically that's all you need to know, really. I mean, I'm sure people will have tons of questions going forward, but literally, it's just buying sneakers, buying or bidding on sneakers. You know, we could pick a different pair. Like buying or bidding on sneakers, and then once you own them, you'll spend most of your time in your portfolio. You'll either be in your order book where you're going to cancel bids and asks for whatever reason, or you'll be in your portfolio where you're just checking the market. You're like, okay, I own 12 shares of this. The highest bid again is zero here, but the highest bid like here for these, someone really wants these Jordan 1 off-white Carolinas or University Blue. Someone's willing to pay $11.10. Someone wants those. Same thing with these Air Presto off-whites. You see the highest. See this one's the other day. I don't even think the highest bid was even. I think it was $4 and something. Some user is looking at this 529 and they're trying to convince the owners of these shares to drop down because this is creeped up. This $5.10 is creeped up. Let's see. And then, yeah, these Fear of Gods, no bids on those yet. Yeah, so let me see. I think there's another question that came through. Yeah, if you want to buy, and this is part of what we're working on making. Yeah, Steven, I got your question. If you want to buy, and we're making this simpler now, trust me, we are constantly trying to make improvements, and eventually, we've already started designing the app, but eventually, once we have more users, we need to ask them more questions about what they want to see before we start spending money on engineering to actually build it. But yeah, so Steven, your question is there an option to buy immediately? Absolutely. Any sneaker you see, and if you want to buy it immediately, you just literally go look at the lowest ask. This $6.07, if you're willing to pay that price, you can own as many shares as are for sale for $6.70 that are on the market. Now, again, you can't see that now, but we have that data. And eventually, well, pretty soon, for our power users, let's say, we will offer them the opportunity to see the order book. So they'll see, okay, $6.07, there's 12 shares available at that price. And then if you wanted to buy them, if you're willing to pay the entire $6.70, you just put the number of shares, let's say 3, and then you would put $6.07. And the system, once you click buy or bid, you will get those 3 shares. I don't want to buy them from this account now. I mean, I could show you, I guess. Let's see. So we would put 3 shares in here, $6.70. Now remember, if we don't think it's worth that, anything less than $6.07, you're just making a bid. But if you want to buy them, you have to meet this price of $6.07. And so what you'll see happen is when I click buy or bid, the shares we own will go up to 3. And our cash will go down and some other things will happen in the portfolio. But once we click buy or bid, you'll see down here it says success. And then shares we own here is going to go to 3 once I refresh the page. Let me see here. And you'll get all kinds of email notifications. But once I refresh the page, now you see we own 3 shares. And that's because we paid $1. We paid what so there's more available because it's still saying there are more shares available at 607. But now we own 3 shares. And there were 94 shares on the market. Now there's 91. So yes, Stephen, to answer your question, if you want to buy a share outright and you don't want to have to wait on bids to clear and all that stuff, just pay whatever the lowest ask per share is. Just like StockX, if you want to buy these shoes right now, you pay $318 right now, you will get these size 9s. It's the same concept. And again, it's not from them. Um, it's over 220 years. The stock market's been doing the same thing. And then again, I'll show you if we go to our portfolio um, and we go down. You see now we own 3 shares. There's still no bid out there. But eventually someone will bid if somebody wants this size 11 or if just somebody, the main thing is we want to let people know is you don't have to wear the size to trade the shares. If you think whether it's a size, whether it's not your size or not, if you think you can make money trading those shares, then you shouldn't even care what size it is. Unless you want to own the sneakers, then size, starts to matter a lot. Okay, let's see. Other questions. Okay, so let me see. Are there any other questions you guys have? I mean, that's really it. You just go on, find the sneakers you want to invest in or own. Most people just want to make money, to be honest. And most of the users that I've talked to, like one of the questions we ask them is, what are you going to use Arkiv for? And about 80 to 85% of them say, I'm going to use it to make money. So what we think will happen, we don't consider StockX and GOAT and Stadium Goods. They're not competitors. What we think will happen is that those 80, 85% of people, the majority of them probably will figure out how to use this to where they can make money. And then they'll take the money they made and let's say, for instance, let's say you're trading on here. You want these Air Presto, these black Air Presto off-whites in size 11. Let's say you want them. You've made some money, but there's a hard head out there. Let's say you bought and sold shares and you made enough money on other sneakers, trading other shares on our exchange. Now you have enough money to buy them. But let's say there's a stubborn seller out there that just won't meet the price you're willing to pay. And so you say, okay, let me just cash out and let me go to Stadium Goods and buy them. I made my little money, and I have money left over to invest in other sneakers. I think that's how people are going to use this. They're going to use Arkiv to make money. And then if they can't get the sneakers they want off of Arkiv, they'll go elsewhere to buy them. And we'll never have as many sneakers as Stadium Goods or Riff LA or Flight Club or GOAT or StockX or eBay, none of them. Our goal is not to sell a lot of sneakers. Our goal is to give people the opportunity to make money buying and selling shares of sneakers. Our goal is not to sell sneakers. We leave that to Flight Club, Riff LA, Stadium Goods, StockX. We leave that the Real, Poshmark, Kixify, Grailed, all of them. They can sell sneakers. We want to give people the opportunity, a way to make money buying and selling shares of sneakers. Let's see, what question did I miss? Yeah, so I'll wait to see if there are other questions. But yeah, again, if any of your faithful followers have questions, don't hesitate. Just throw in the chat, in the Instagram chat. I mean, we're happy to do demos, one-on-ones. Eventually, we're gonna launch our. The idea is to eventually launch like a YouTube page. I mean, we are like content. We have like a program. We have some program content where we're going to do things like every Tuesday we'll announce the trader of the week. With their permission, we'll just let them know, let all the other users know, hey, like this person is killing it. Eventually, what we think will happen is people will start trying to. Now, again, this will be the trader, the user will have to consent to this. They'll have to agree to this. But eventually, I mean, we could see users who are doing really well. I talked to George and Ray about this, kind of being brokers or taking other users' money and investing it for them and charging them a fee, which will be another way to, for the really good traders to really make a lot of money. Just like on Wall Street, you got Goldman Sachs investing rich people's money. we could see the same thing here where really good archive traders may invest other people's money for a small fee between them and the other people. We have nothing to do with that. But that's something will help really good traders set up if they're interested in doing it. Yeah. Okay, George. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. If there are not any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. Um, I'll wait a minute because I know there's a delay, and you guys tell me if there are not other questions, or if you put them in Instagram if you want. That's about it. So I'll wait here about 30 seconds. I know it's late for you guys on the East Coast, so thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Steven, no problem, man. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I know it's really late. Yeah, we're gonna make it, man. You guys are crushing it too, by the way. DS Dan, you're welcome, man. Thank you guys. You guys are a big part of this, man. I mean, you guys are a big part of it. So yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Always here. We're always here to help you guys to give explanations. So you guys all have a great night. Get some rest. All right, we're gonna sign off now. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be in Instagram the rest of the night. Thanks, guys.